Another big con, the operating system on here is very centered around the stylus. That's what that popping noise was. My little sister just asked me if she wanted me to pop these little pillow things with her. Swear. Anyway, yeah, alright, you can totally navigate through this menu system here with only buttons. You can even organize it with your buttons, but, you know, that's pretty much the extent of what you can use with your buttons. Like, take for instance the settings. You can sort of scroll through here with it, but you can't scroll down and select one. Hitting the A button does absolutely nothing. You have to pull out your stylus and tap one of these options. This is absolutely not cool. This is absolutely ridiculous. I have to use the stylus so much. Let's also show you here on the, let's look at, you know, the camera app again. Wish you'd stop that. Oh my gosh, there's pillows. If you look, you know, I might want to be able to select. I can't select anything with the buttons. I push here, nothing happens. I have to pull out the stylus. I could use my fingernail, but and the reason why this is such a big problem is because one, this is a very small stylus. You could lose it really quickly, and two, this slot here is already showing signs of getting loose. I haven't even had this thing for a week, and this thing is getting like worn out to the point where it feels like I've had this thing for at least a year. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Nintendo, I hope you fix this in a software update. I mean, you know, it is a great little thing to have a little touchscreen, but unless you make the touchscreen capacitive, let's not center it completely around, let's not try and make it too touchscreen intensive. That's really annoying. Things like the iPod Touch, which you kind of have to use the touchscreen on, I'm fine with. It's got the capacitive touchscreen. It is super uber duper accurate and responsive. You know, just not a good idea to do that, Nintendo, on the DSi. Because on the standard DS, you know, I had my choice. Everything worked with either buttons or, I mean, I can't even type with the keyboard using the buttons. It's really annoying, Nintendo. So that is definitely a big con. That could probably be that could probably stop you from wanting to buy this. I wasn't aware that it was that stylus intensive. I have used DSi's in the past before buying this, but I never realized that it was that stylus intensive. Like, that it required that much use out of the stylus. And it's absolutely ridiculous, and I really think Nintendo should have thought this over and should have thought this through. Because, I mean, I don't want to be scratching my screen. Anyway, yeah, is there anything else that I can say? That is really one big con. I do believe yeah, one last one before we go into the pros. Remember how I was saying that this is kind of pointlessly, this third indicator here is pointlessly there? Watch this. Now, let's cut the volume down, okay, it's cut down. Watch, see how I'm going to use my finger to go through everything here? I mean, come on, it's really not, it's not good. Not cool. Alright, wireless communications. Off. Watch this. Bang. Turned off. So, at least to give you an indication when it's turned off, but, you know, that's not only talking about Wi-Fi, as most people believe. Because now, let's say I wanted to go into PictoChat. Now, I do have the indication that it is not on, but go into PictoChat, it won't let me. You see that? It's not Wi-Fi. It doesn't indicate that Wi-Fi capabilities are on. It indicates that everything's on. When you turn that off, you cannot use any of the radios in this DSi, and that's kind of stupid. So, I mean, in order to correct that, just leave it on, but, you know, still, if you feel like your DSi is being tampered with, if it's just acting very weirdly, and, you know, the camera back here is just randomly turning on or something, you might want to be able to turn that off. And, you know, I don't know, guys. Oh no, it's kind of a pro and a con, but still. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the pros of the Nintendo DSi, because let me tell you guys something, I love the DSi. It is a great system. Alright, one of the first and probably one of my favorite features about the Nintendo DSi. Hear that? Hear that? it's got a very wonderful matte finish on it. This is really, I am so glad Nintendo made the DSi have the matte finish. This is one of the big things that kept me from buying the DSi XL, actually. DSi XL has matte all over it except on the top, which makes no sense. So, this matte finish here is really good, because matte, as you guys know, it doesn't scratch very easily. It's very hard to scratch it. And if it does get scratched, most of the time, if you take your finger and just rub it kind of hard, you can rub the scratch right off, which is really a cool feature and thing. So, it's definitely a good thing Nintendo decided to use the matte finish on it. It looks really good. It looks really nice. Also, there's this information here is printed on the DSi. You still do have a sticker down here, though, which makes no sense. Those always get peeled off in my experiences. Or at least they rub off. I don't really know why that is, but they just do. So yeah, it is a good thing that they included this matte finish onto it. Thing with matte finishes, though, and it actually stains. I found a small stain on my battery. You see that little small stain? Yeah, it does stain easily, but especially this white model. But you know what? I am so glad Nintendo put this on here. Alright, another thing that I like about the Nintendo DSi, I said it doesn't have the best build quality in the world, but it feels super duper sturdy. It doesn't feel like this thing's, I mean, if I drop this, yeah, I would be scared. But, and you know, it's bound to happen. I probably most likely will drop this, so I've been thinking about getting a case for it, or case or something at least. And you know that feeling when you get a brand new device, you just kind of feel like you have to take it everywhere you go. So that's been the way I've been with this thing. I haven't really been able to go anywhere without it. I've been trying to separate myself a little bit from it, but it's not working too well. But anyway, yeah, so, yeah, it does feel sturdy. That's what we're talking about, the sturdiness of it. It feels nice. I mean, I go to do that, but when I hit it, I hear this sort of hollow noise. And like, you know, it's still kind of hollow, but it does feel much sturdier, and I mean, it also has a nice weight to it. I mean, this thing is pretty heavy. It's got a good weight to it. You know, people are starting to companies are trying to make their devices feel lighter. It just makes them feel cheaper. This feels quite nice in the hand. It does rattle, though. That's one thing I forgot to mention. It kind of rattles if you shake it this way. But I believe that's the buttons that are doing that there, because the buttons do kind of have this, especially the D-pad. Not even pushing it in. So yeah, let's see, other pros. Well, I do like how they give you an SD card slot, because, I mean, not only can you store photos on here, not only can you put some software on here to keep it off of your DSi, you can also back up your DSi from it. Now, I mean, there is no way really you can transfer software via SD card to another DSi, which is kind of, you know, I understand that that's sort of a, you know, sort of like a copyright feature, but Nintendo should have at least made you, like, have some sort of password that you'll need to enter in order to do it. I mean, but Nintendo should have thought of that, because if this thing should break, I get it replaced, all my software is gone. Now, all the software I've downloaded is free so far, but still, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If I ever get anything paid, I'll have to re-buy it. That's kind of a little bit inconsiderate of Nintendo to do that, so, I mean, seriously, it makes it makes sense, but it's a little bit annoyingly obnoxious. But you still can back up your DSi, and I'm sure you will at least one day figure out a way to sort of hack your DSi and get that files on there, but at least you'll have it, so it's always a nice thing, always a good thing. I just have a simple gigabyte in here, and you have plenty of space with the gigabyte, guys. Here, I'll show it to you. And that's what I got in there. Simple gigabyte. Not much. Well, this door does get kind of flimsy a little bit occasionally. I like how I like the way the hinge feels. I like that little noise it makes when you close it. So yeah, all in all, would I recommend the DSi?